Hello, Internet.
Hey guys,
Hope you are doing well.
I
Refresh TikTok, which should be live, and it is. Yay. Hello, everyone. You love to see it.
check. Input 5. Why is it not showing up? Input 5
Check 1, 2,
is
3.
in fact
Yay.
input 5. Check. This is the one. Why is it not? Now if I refresh. Check. Sorry. Yes, everything's in. Input 1, drift correction from there. This becomes the 5th, and then the output channels are out there. Maybe I gotta keep that in. Is that what it was? None. And now you need to add this as an aggregate. I need this specifically. Check. There we go. I don't know why it took 7 steps. All right. I'm going to get rid of all the things that are going to put this laptop on fire. All right. Now I'm good.
Sweet. All right. I'm recording. I think I'm good. Josh, if there's anything on our best games list that we stole from you, just let us know, because I know probably both of us can pretty easily adjust.
Oh, no, you're fine. I had some more... I had some more personal ones, so I'm ready.
Sweet.
I should be good to go.
I love it.
I tried to space mine out.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I have a million that I could say.
Yep. All right, I'll hit our intro.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, welcome back. It has been a minute. We don't even know how to do this anymore. Are we streaming? Who knows? Are we recording even? Doubtful. But listeners, it's good to be back with you.
Mine says it is.
Okay, that's good. At least one of us is. Then if no one else is recording but Josh, you just heard 30 seconds of silence followed by what Josh just said. But guys, it's good to be back. Johnny, Josh, season 4, here we go. Johnny, to celebrate season 4, you went on quite the adventure.
Yes, I did. It included whitewater rafting down the Zambezi,
As one
eating
does.
crocodile steak, trying ostrich beef jerky. Well, I guess it's not beef jerky, ostrich jerky. Zip lining across the gorge from country to country, seeing every animal except lions in South Africa. Lions hate me, apparently. Aaron, I don't know if that's an omen for your team's season, good or bad. I don't know.
It is an omen. Whether it's good or bad,
It's an
that's
omen.
to be determined.
We don't know how to read it.
Yep.
But if anybody has a leopard for their team mascot somewhere in the world, you're going to have a great season. So lots of leopards.
Are
Lots.
jaguars and leopards the same thing?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
They be?
Well, that's
No.
good, because there's no way Jacksonville was actually having a good season this year. So that, is it Jaguars and It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're not going to have a good season. We'll get to that in a month.
Let him do the joke.
Yep, you're right. I'm over here trying to be too analytical about this whole thing. Johnny, that all sounds incredible. I'm glad you returned in one piece and we're not crocodile and or hippo meat. So that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Josh, what's going on, man?
I'm doing great. I'm currently not doing research. in the middle of the show intro.
Surely not.
Ignore those clicks. Those clicks
Yeah.
aren't registering on
No.
the WAV file. Oh, they are. I can see each click registering on my WAV file at least. That's fine. I'm doing great. I have a squeaky chair. I have a really loud mouse. And so all I'm really ready for in season 4 is to make editing Aaron work that much harder to cover all of my little peripheral noises.
That's right.
In other news, I went down not that far south, but south more southernly than I currently
Galveston,
am.
Josh.
No, not that far. We've talked about this. Charles Barkley said nothing wrong. He spoke no untruth. I've been to Galveston. I've smelled Galveston. Don't go. Unless you're on a cruise and you're shipping off from there, or you like Texas A&M's Galveston branch. All right?
And brown water.
And brown water. No, I went to hill country of west of Austin. Spent a great time in Fredericksburg. Guys, do you know how many wineries there are? How many vineyards there are in Fredericksburg? In Texas, of all places.
20.
I don't know either, but
Oh,
but 20 sounds good. That's at least as many as I passed by on my way in. It was gorgeous. Apparently, you can grow grapes really well in Texas if you know what you're doing. You know the second greatest area? Lubbock.
Oh,
Lubbock, Texas.
Go Red
is
Raiders.
Apparently, Texas Tech. We'll be looking forward to seeing them.
actually, yes, we will, because they might actually be, not to steer us away into an actual sports conversation that you all are here to listen to, but low key, Texas Tech could be pretty
Not
good.
the segue into the show that you clicked on expecting to
Right.
listen to.
I mean, they signed a 5-star offensive lineman for $3 million or $5 million of rev share money, whatever that is. Again, I'm getting us distracted from the real thing, which is distracting us from talking about sports. Guys, sounds like you all had great journeys. I mean, Johnny, you went to a different continent. Josh, you're in very, very nice parts of Texas, but I think I've got you all beat. And that is because I got to go to a Chicago White Sox game. Yes, sir. I made it to Rate Field, not guaranteed rate, just Rate Field. And I had a great time because here's what happened. So I was traveling to Chicago to visit family. That was a great time. Thank you, Austin and Autumn, for hosting the whole gang. And so it worked out that the White Sox were in town. And of course, I had to go to see the White Sox. So it was great. The best part about it, because the White Sox are terrible, right? We all know this. We have made fun of them for that routinely on this show because we are heartless. And so normally you wouldn't think that the White Sox would be that fun to watch. The environment would be pretty bad. But here's the secret, kids. Have a Flo Rida concert right after the game, so you almost fill up the whole stadium and people are just there for the vibe. So yes, the White Sox lost, to no surprise to anyone, but the environment was actually really good. People were just hanging out, no expectations that their team would win. Those days are long gone. But I had a great time. So I checked the White Sox stadium. I checked Rate Field off my ballpark list. That's number 6. So that was a lot of fun. And a couple trips to Michigan mixed in there as well was awesome. So that's what I did to celebrate season 4.
Aaron,
No. Oh,
guess who I get to see on Friday night?
Oh, the Rockies?
The only team in Major League Baseball worse than the White Sox, the Colorado
Yeah.
Rockies. We are going to truly fulfill my requirement to test out my curse that is my presence at the Reds ballpark. So if the Reds lose to the Rockies Friday night, I might not be able to go to a Cincinnati Reds game for a long time.
No.
I might not risk it after that.
Self-imposed ban.
So there are some high stakes with this Friday night game for the Cincinnati Reds and the Colorado Rockies. So have me in your prayers on Friday night, because I like going to Reds games. But if they lose to the Rockies, I'm going to have a hard argument. to make to go to anymore.
Yeah, you and Sharon
It's
Moore can hang
determined.
out with your self-imposed bans if that happens.
That's right.
Mm.
That's what we have said. Is if this is a
So I
two-step
can ban
process.
myself from Cincinnati Reds games that I wouldn't be attending anyway.
No, this is the opposite.
Yes.
Actually, this is the opposite. You know how in Holes, the book and the movie, the titular character, Mr. Holes, had to
Mr. Holes.
Stanley Yelnat. That's me. Mr. Holes is me vamping to figure out if I can remember the main character. I can. It is in fact Stanley Yelnats.
Wow.
If you remember how
Good
Shia
pull.
LaBeouf had to carry the descendant of Madame Zeroni
Madame
up to the
Zeroni,
mountain.
yes.
Mm-hmm. So he had to go through the process to remove the curse once it was established that that was in fact the curse. In the same way, Johnny. By the way, $18 if you want tickets right now on SeatGeek that Friday night. It's fireworks night.
Oh, yay. I had
Also,
no
the same
idea.
day this is coming out, Wednesday, if it is in fact still Wednesday when you're listening. Blue Jays at the Chicago White Sox rate field, $8. Go.
Ooh, Toronto's
$8.
real good. Real good. Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah.
It's $8. Go. Oh, it's not going to be good. It's $8. What do you want?
Yep. Shut up and eat
Trying
your
to buy
$8 hot dog with your
SMU
$8
games,
ticket.
and I'm not dropping $330 on like a
Josh, what I'm
Baylor
hearing,
ticket.
though, is if the Rockies do beat
Oh,
the
sorry.
Reds, I'm going to ask you to come up with a way to remove said curse.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I'm so glad you asked, Johnny, because I already have formulated a way in which you
Oh,
can
wow.
remove this curse. You
All
have
right,
to
wait, hold on. I want to be
Mhm.
surprised. Don't tell me
Oh,
until they
okay.
lose. I want to be
Perfect.
surprised.
Okay.
Save that
I
one.
do have a method. So we will either
Okay.
next week, this time next week, you can tune in live. Oh yeah, not this time next week. You're listening in the future. Next Monday night, 5:30, 6:30 Eastern, or 6:30, 5:30 Central. If
There
you
you
want to, make the better time the last time, save the best for last. You can tune in right here to YouTube, and you can, or TikTok, or
Yeah.
Twitter.
Not
Or
Twitter. Facebook. Yep.
Facebook. Elon Musk said no. Oh well.
Well, I
The,
mostly said no.
Good.
Yeah.
You can tune in either YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, and we will either revel in the punishments, the curse breaking that I had devised, and we can revel in all how funny would that have been, or it'll be a solemn time because we will. I do have a curse. This is not a prank. This is not you got to go to Waffle House for 24 hours. Every waffle knocks out an hour. This isn't funny. Curse breaking isn't funny.
Yeah. It's a
It's gonna
serious
be
business.
a somber, serious time
Yeah.
where I determine with certainty the process by which the Reds could become uncursed. Now, is that uncursed period or just uncursed from the Johnny side of the curse? It's going to have to be multifaceted. Who knows?
Josh, please
Johnny
send me your
might
best
be the-
curse breaking music so I can hit it on the soundboard before we engage in such serious activity.
Got you.
Whatever that might
I
be.
I just downloaded the new program that does in fact let me
Maybe the ancient
create my own like chord progressions, and so I'm just going to go to
Oh,
cinematic and like curse. If I can do like curse chord progressions,
Yeah.
I'll get you something
that's
nice.
good. That's good.
It'll be royalty free, don't you worry, because I'll make
thank
it and
goodness.
it'll be so bad no one is going to want to copyright it.
That's right. Josh, you did point out that you can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Like Mike did, he said, going back to a previous discussion, he said cougars, panthers, pumas, catamounts, and mountain lions are all the same. So there you go.
Yes.
Thank you
That is correct.
for actually providing knowledge on this show. And you also apparently unlocked a #1 fan badge. So that's awesome.
Hey,
I don't know how that works,
Mike.
but that's amazing. So thank you. So good for you. And that could be you too. If you want to join us live, if your 2 brain cells you have remaining can handle it. Another sort of segue I want to take us on because Josh, almost this time exactly last year, you became part of Atlantic Coast Conference territory, ACC
Oh,
territory,
yes.
Texas
All
and Dallas
Coast
specifically,
Conference.
known for being near the Atlantic Ocean. Well, we're even more advanced in season 4 because starting in 2026, this time next year, Texas
Yes.
State joins the Pac-12. Woo! Yay!
Truly. Texas
hate it here.
is where it's at.
I mean, you've got
Truly.
Big 12, SEC, you've got both coasts, ACC,
Name
Pac-12,
another.
Sun Belt. Conference
I want
USA,
you to name
American.
me-
You got American.
I want
you
you to
got
name
the
me
whole
another
thing.
geographic location where I can go from the East Coast to the West Coast in 3 hours. I can go
Josh,
from the
how does it
Atlantic
feel to have a
Pacific.
view of both oceans?
I will tell you, it makes the sunrises and the sunsets. You know how you go to like Alaska,
Just
and
gorgeous,
especially around
man.
this time, it's gorgeous, but it's so much because right now the sun's like 23 hours a day. That's what it ends up accidentally being here. Because you have all the people on the East Coast talking about how the beautiful sunrises and that nice beautiful Atlantic Ocean right there, all the waves, and then you have all of the Pacific guys literally like 2 hours later just talking about the sunsets. And so it has this really, it's not that days are longer or shorter, they're just more. And it means that right now,
Josh, would you say it just means more? Would that be a phrase that you might use?
in fact, Aaron, I would.
That's good.
It just means more.
Oh my! I mean, at
They're
some point we'll get into
officially-
the conversation of the Pac-12 being back. I mean, I use that in extreme air quotes because it's not the Pac-12 that you and I have grown to love. In fact, it's feels sort of kind of pointless.
You know how they remade Full House into Fuller House, and you went, "What?"
Yeah, you're right, Josh. So we won't spend time on that, but ladies and gentlemen, what we will spend time on is some of the games that we are looking most forward to in 2025. So we've each got 3. I don't know if there's duplicates. We don't know if there's duplicates. It doesn't matter because these are all great games. So we'll run through them. We'll kind of just go through a rotation. So Johnny, why don't you kick us off with the game that is quite literally kicking off the 2025 season?
Yeah, it makes sense that I start off because my first game I'm looking forward to, which for many reasons I'm looking forward to it, is Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland this year.
Oh.
I think this is the best week 0 game we've probably ever had. It has at least the potential for to be so. Chris Kleiman, Kansas City's head coach, he's won at least 8 games every year he's been at Kansas State since he took over for Bill Snyder. He's been phenomenal. Measure of consistency, really kind of a down year, a little disappointing for Kansas State last year, only winning 8 games in the regular season. So they look to bounce back. Avery Johnson's back with that team. So there's no reason to think that they can't get better. But one of the questions is Avery Johnson also just who Avery Johnson is? Maybe this is his ceiling at this point. So that'll be interesting to see. Iowa State, Rocco Becht is back. Their starting quarterback. He had an amazing season last year, had a lot of opportunities to enter the portal, decided to stay loyal to Iowa State. Love that program, the consistency Matt Campbell's created there, but he lost all of his weapons on the outside. So how do they replace the wide receiving core out there? Both teams very much in a wide open race in the Pac-12, excuse me.
That too.
Big 12 conference race. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're in both conferences.
Maybe they'll show up in Ireland just with a Pac-12 logo on their jersey.
Who
At this
knows?
point, who knows?
Obviously, Arizona State, after winning the conference last year, is the favorite. But these two are definitely in that pack, right on their tail, in a wide open conference race to see who wins. It's wild to have a game with this much on the line week 0. Big time matchup. I'll be fascinated. And then it's also it's week 0.
Yeah.
College football's back. So I'll be thrilled to have it. So I'm excited for Farmageddon
Yeah.
in Dublin, Ireland.
That's a great one. I've got one that is, I think, still in the September, but it's late September. Guys, Oregon goes to Penn State. And usually when something big like this happens in the Big Ten, it gets big nooned, a verb, as we know, to call it when a game gets moved to noon, a la Ohio State, Texas. Not the case here. Penn State hosts Oregon on NBC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time with their whiteout, which is awesome. Awesome. This will, I mean, wow. Oh, I actually am one of those people that thinks Penn State's going to be pretty darn good. We're putting together our college football, preseason preview stuff, and Penn State with a number 1 attached to them is rattling around in my brain right now. And I know exactly what people are saying when that subject is even approached. Well, but James Franklin. And I get it. And that's my biggest reason to pause or to move away from Penn State being number 1 preseason. This game, Penn State hosting Oregon, is so huge because while Penn State under James Franklin hasn't really won the quote unquote big game, maybe short of like 2016 beating Ohio State, this is their chance. And it's kind of one of those things, if it's not now, when is it? Like, yes, Penn State goes to Ohio State. There's a couple other games that are key. But, I mean, this is the big one at home. This is the game for Penn State. Are you legit? And by legit, I mean, are you capable of winning a national championship? Because based on the roster, the answer should be yes. Can you execute? Can you make something happen? That's what I'm interested in. And obviously, Oregon's going to be really good, too. Like, what are they? They're going to have a relatively young quarterback thrown in to that environment. So Oregon at Penn State is probably top of my list. And that includes Ohio State, Texas, because that'll be nervous, throw up right after I've cried because Lee Corso puts on Brutus for the last time. So like Ohio State, Texas could make my list, but for now it's not. That's what I've got. Josh, you've got a couple good early games.
Yeah. So I am very excited. I'll save my earliest. You know what? No, let's front it. Because one theme I'm going to take this year, maybe this is just my frustration with the NBA and the ratings discussion. Won't anyone think of the shareholders?
Right.
I'm going to pick a game that you're not going to go, oh, yeah, this is going to be a great decider. I'm looking forward to East Texas A&M at SMU. And you're
Let's
going,
go.
what? And I'm going, shut up. That's their home opener.
Yeah.
It's $10 whole to get in. That's fees included on StubHub.
That's beautiful.
Josh, do you think you'll get another foam cowboy hat?
I'm hoping so. That's why I'm excited, because I'm going to this game.
Yes.
Go to your local. I think actually all of us, when I say all of us, the 3 of us currently in the podcast, are not in the city that our favorite team is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we get to do instead? We get to pick local teams to go support.
It's true.
You guys can go to a Toledo game.
I have. It was amazing.
And have.
Yep.
Guys, you live, and when I say, now I'm going to make a collective view, you guys live in a world in which, yeah, you can go see some marquee games. You can also go to the home opener of a MAC team that you've never, really thought about in your life before. Go see if Central Michigan is playing around the time that you're free. They will be. Go to a Fun Belt game.
Yes.
Go to a random don't even go to a random FCS game. Go to these littler games.
Yeah.
The crowd's going to be fun. I'm going to.
It won't be more than
specifically-
$20.
Exactly.
We can
it's also-
promise you that.
It's not. You might get a foam hat like I might. You might have a bunch of guys yelling out for Kevin, like mine did last time. You just.
They were
don't
right about
know.
that, turns out.
They nailed it. Those guys saw it. I saw it. That's how you go.
They knew.
So East Texas A&M at SMU, that is a microcosm of the larger point. Go to a game. Don't spend money if you don't have to. $10-$20.
Local rivalry.
That's beautiful.
Local rivalry.
Yep.
Go.
That's beautiful, Josh. Johnny, what you got?
All right, next up. I spaced mine out throughout the season. Next up is a little bit Homer bias, but I'm very fascinated. This is one of the hot names. Aaron already mentioned everybody's talking kind of about Penn State, if not now, win. One of the other offseason storylines is who's next year's Indiana? And everybody is saying Illinois. And that's because Illinois ended the season so strong last year. And then you saw what they did in the bowl game against the South Carolina team without opt-outs, really. Both teams played all of their best players. Phenomenal bowl game, really entertaining, great to see. Illinois and Brett Bielema won that game against the South Carolina team that is very talented and is coming back, and some people think, in their own right. are dark horses to make the playoff. The biggest thing for Illinois this season, they don't have to play Oregon. They don't have to play Michigan. They don't have to play Penn State. And they get Ohio State week 7 in Champaign. That is one of the games I'm looking forward to. If Illinois does what they should and are 6-0 at this point in the season, Ohio State, whether they lose to Texas or they beat Texas, they're probably 5-1, 6-0 at this point in the season as well. Just ginormous game for Illinois. They probably don't have to win this game to get into the college football playoff, but I guarantee you if Illinois does win this game, they will be in the playoff. I have a hard time seeing them lose more than 2 games beyond that, and if they finish 10-2 or better with a win against Ohio State, they are in the playoff. So this will be a fascinating game. Illinois has 16 of their 22 starters returning, including their starting quarterback in Luke Altmaier. Brett Bielema does a wonderful job developing low-rated players, getting the most out of them. They're great, have a great rushing attack. They keep putting in player after player into the NFL draft on the defensive side, and they've been excellent in the trenches. So I'm fascinated to see Ohio State having to go on the road in some weird way. Champaign, Illinois might actually be the first time Ohio State really faces a difficult road test for a first-year starting quarterback. So that will be fascinating. This game will probably get big nooned, but it will still be a great environment if Illinois holds up their end of the bargain. So obviously, Illinois has to do that part. I expect them to, though, up until this point in the season at the minimum. Their season gets tougher on the back end. I'm fascinated to see if Illinois is legit when the Buckeyes come to town week 7.
Yeah, that's a good one. You talked about them being the first road test for Ohio State. Without looking at what other games are during that week, could it also be the first time College Game Day comes to Champaign? I did a quick search, and I do not believe... So I believe the list as of at the end of last year, because Cal hosted Game Day last year, if you remember. That knocked them off the list.
First time, yeah.
The only 6 Power 4 schools that have yet to host the show: Illinois, Rutgers, Maryland, Syracuse, Virginia, and notably SMU now. That could be a chance that they do that. So that would be a lot of fun for Illinois. Maybe not so much for Ohio State, but go Fighting Illini for those that are really into that. That's a great one. I'll take one orange team and give you a similar one. LSU plays at Clemson in week 1. So I kind of went out of order, but who cares? Gentlemen, do you remember the last time LSU won a game in week 1? It's slightly rhetorical because the answer is 2019, the year Joe Burrow led them to a championship. LSU has not won a week 1 game since 2019. Now, I'll give them a lot of credit for always scheduling difficult opponents in week 1, but even when the dust settled from last year, LSU probably should have defeated USC, knowing what we know now. But regardless, and I have given my thoughts on Brian Kelly. I think that might be a little bit par for the course. But they are playing a Clemson team that I think is head and shoulders above the rest of the ACC. Like, this may be a borderline, like, Clemson team of old where they could win a national championship. Like, I think they're that talented. Now, long term, we'll talk about this next week when we dive a little bit more into the ACC. There's some future concerns for Clemson, but right now in the present, Clemson, I think, is going to be really good. And notably, this game is at Clemson. So bravo LSU for always scheduling tough week 1 games, even though you end up starting the season 0-1, and bravo to playing not at a neutral site. So claps, applause all the way around. But that game is going to be awesome. And I believe that is the night game on No, that's not true. That's Florida State, Alabama. This is a Monday.
Is that the Sunday game?
It's either the Sunday or the Monday game. So either way, standalone game. Make some plans so you can cancel it. LSU at Clemson with 2 very good quarterbacks. Maybe, and this is a big maybe the top 2 quarterbacks drafted in the NFL next season. Maybe. Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Could be. Josh, what do you got?
I'm going to go ahead and play to the crowd. I just said I'm protesting against won't anyone think of the ratings. But I am going to talk about our classic. These are blue bloods though. I'm going with type. I'm excited for, I guess it's week 4, Alabama at Georgia. That's the 27th of September, if you don't know how weeks in football work. Not how weeks period work. That's okay. But football weeks are different sometimes.
Yep. We have a week
That's
0 in college football. Wrap your mind around that.
Oof, you got to sit, and there 0 is a real, yeah. There are irrational numbers that are real in
Yes.
football.
Yes.
And math teachers hate this one sport. I'm specifically excited for this. Not excited. Again, we just talked about how I'm not rooting for Alabama's return, but this is their first big. No offense, Wisconsin. This is probably their first big game of the year. Alabama notably finished much further below what Alabama fans have come to expect from at the very least, a Nick Saban-led Alabama, which was national championship. So at some point, you were going to have if a fall off is 4 losses, just build another statue, call it the final one, and just tear down the stadium. But this is Kalen DeBoer's sophomore, so to speak, year. College, it's like a college year pun, so you can laugh now.
I wish I had an applause or a laugh track on here. That's my bad,
what
Josh.
I did
I'll get it
was
ready
I
for next
said
week.
Oh no, I kind of want it silent. I kind of want it to where they have to laugh in that silence I created.
Yeah, they're so
And then I
uncomfortable right
thank
now.
them. Exactly. They go, and then I go, thank you for that.
Yep.
Johnny's already talked a little bit about. Oh no, he won't. He'll get to that in a second. I don't want to. So he'll be able to preview a little bit more, but I'm watching this game more specifically to see if this can be a decent indicator for how Alabama is going to be this second year in. They lost. I just had all the transfers pulled up. They lost. I mean, about the same amount that most people were losing. They lost about 20 of their players. They brought in. Maybe 15 looks like, and then they're keeping about they're keeping a good amount of their defense from last year, from what I can tell. So there should be some interesting things to see from this team early, but at Georgia is going to be fun. Also, as a side note, and thank you AL.com for letting me know. It's this game, week 4, that's already scheduled with a time slot, 6:30.
Okay.
The first 2 weeks are also at Florida State, 2:30. ULM mentioned, 6:45. Wisconsin, 11 a.m.
Yay.
There's nothing else really like time slotted yet. Which is, I mean, we're looking at games in September, October, November. They have general like night, flex, morning. The only thing that's really set in stone is when they bring in Eastern Illinois week, is it like 12?
Oh.
They know that's a 1 p.m. kickoff.
Oh, thank goodness. I was wondering.
So
Good
that's the 22nd if you're excited.
I am.
So
Go
get your
Panthers.
tickets now. Apparently, ESPN knows something we don't.
That's good.
So that might be a bonus parenthetical. Watch for that game, because is there a boring reason why Eastern Illinois is like scheduled specifically this far out? Most likely something contractual and boring. Am I starting a conspiracy clock for the worst upset pick of the season? Yeah. Absolutely I am.
My final of my 3 picks is going off of Josh. It's week 12, Texas at Georgia. So this is just, like Josh said, blue bloods. Obviously, all the implications in the world are kind of obvious here. It also could be, if Arch Manning is to the standard that some people are already assuming, this could be his crowning moment for the Heisman. It's week 12, very late in the season. This could be a deciding game with who gets into the SEC title game and who doesn't. This could be a elimination game for the college football playoff. It's so late in the season. Not to mention, Texas blew 2 opportunities to beat Georgia last season, but they're still going to Athens now. They are not going to be in Austin. They're not going to be in a neutral site. They're going to be in Athens between the hedges. Is Gunnar Stockton going to be able to revitalize that Georgia offense? It was not all Carson Beck's fault last year. Wide receivers were dropping gift baskets last season. But Georgia also was not able to run the ball. I say all of this, and Georgia still won the SEC last year.
Yeah.
Is Texas going to finally be able to kill the king so that they can become it? Texas also losing a ton of production all over the field, not only when it comes to the weapons. I'm predominantly more worried about in the trenches. They lost a ton on their defensive line and offensive line in quality players and production. Will that be able to hold up against a Georgia Bulldog team where they struggled even as talented as they were last year? It's late in the season. At this point, all your players, even if they're freshmen, they're sophomores. They've played enough football. Fascinating game this late in the season. I expect there to be high stakes. Neither team's probably unblemished coming into this game. So what does it mean in the SEC title race? What does it mean going into the playoff? What does it mean Heisman-wise? Fascinating game. Texas trying to get over that Georgia hurdle. See if Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning can do so.
Yeah, that's a good one. Mike says on YouTube he's got some sleeper top games, which is kind of fun. Vanderbilt at Tennessee, which I like because we don't know what the Nico effect is yet. And Diego Pavia is back at Vanderbilt for his 17th collegiate season. So let's go. That's just a good rivalry that, well, it has not been a good rivalry, but it has the possibility to be a good rivalry. So for that, I totally agree. He also lists Michigan at Nebraska. Totally agree. That could be a really good game. Like, where are these teams in the Big Ten? Like, are these actual like second tier to first tier teams, or are we just watching the battle of mid? And then he threw in there Notre Dame at Boston College. I don't think Boston College is going to be very good at all. So I'll disagree with that one. But you've named a couple others that could be highly competitive. And I agree, those are sneaky good as well. My last one is the Army-Navy game. There's so much talk, and we've talked a lot about it on this show, of transfer portal and NIL and basically collective bargaining is what we have now. We have like revenue share. We have all this stuff. We have conference realignment. All of this stuff that makes college football very messy. Playoff expansion is probably the biggest culprit here. Army-Navy remains the purest, just most college football feel rivalry that is still going strong. I believe it's year 126. Not to mention, these two teams are going to be pretty darn good again. I think a lot of people saw what Army did, which was amazing. They win the American Conference their first year in it. They go on and beat, well, they were going to play Marshall, and then Marshall backed out. They won their bowl game. They played like a 5-7 Louisiana Tech team. But Army wins the most games in their illustrious history in any season. And sort of lost in all of that was the fact that Navy won double-digit games, and Navy actually won the Navy-Army game, the Army-Navy game last year. And then they went on to win their bowl game, beating Oklahoma. Army's got, I think they're still going to be good, but they've got to replace Bryson Daly, who finished 6th in the Heisman voting, their quarterback. They also have to replace a 1,000-yard rusher in Kanye Udo, who transferred to Arizona State this offseason. Navy, meanwhile, has a lot more pieces in place. Their quarterback, Blake Horvath, I believe the grandson of famous Ohio State quarterback, Heisman winner Horvath. Anyways, he's going to be really good. And one of the best in the conference. I will remind everyone, too, just to add a fun wrinkle to all of this, that as if the Army-Navy rivalry wasn't enough, this is actually a non-conference game because of how late it is in the year. However, we almost had this last year. You could have the week before an Army-Navy conference championship game, which I actually hate because then it takes away from the Army-Navy game. Same way I would hate an Ohio State-Michigan Big Ten championship right after the game's played. But I'm throwing it out there. It's a possibility. But if nothing else, like these two teams laying it all down on the line. Like this is their entire season. They've played 14 weeks, but they couldn't care less what happened. I'm telling you right now, Army would trade that championship in the American Conference for a win over Navy in a heartbeat without second thought. So it's one of the best rivalries. I love it. It's a shame that some idiots are starting to schedule bowl games on this day, because it should be Army and Navy's, and it should be theirs alone. That's a rant I'll get into probably in December when we get to this date. But Army Navy, I love it every year, and it should be really good again this year.
As we are waiting for, unfortunately, what seems like the inevitable of a bowl game or two being scheduled same day as Army Navy, anybody out there who specializes in lawmaking, I know there's not much else going on right now. So if you have spare time, and I know you do, if you could work on finding a way to charge, I guess this is more of like a DO. You know what? It's whoever wants to take it. I could see this being a DOJ thing, but this could be big enough for a DOD. So if you have any friends in the Department of Defense, or who just make laws, I know everyone's real bored right now. If you could make the organizers and ticket buyers, sponsors, I won't say players yet, but any of those people involved in the creation and proliferation of the bowl game, material related to the bowl game, advertising for the bowl game, seating, whatever. If you could charge them all with treason, I think that would
do
be. We have the technology, we have the time, as Aaron said. So I say chop
Jail.
chop.
Yep.
Figure out a cool big jail to put him in. I'm going to. Fine. I'm going to finish us out because I am
love
now.
this pick, Josh. I
Thank
thought
you.
about it. I
This
love this
is-
pick.
This one I'm excited for a few reasons. But since I am now Pac-12 in Pac-12 territory,
Pac-12 Josh,
I-
as they say.
Pac-12 Josh, as they have said, I now get to start previewing games for future Pac-12 teams. One of those teams that has been vying for a Power 5 conference, or at the very least Power 5 respect level, for years, decades, we're getting to, has been Boise State. Boise State, was that week 12, Johnny? Around that time.
I think 10.
Oh, 10?
10.
Perfect.
10. Well, no, you're right, Josh. I'm sorry. Week 12.
Got it in one. Because it's November 22nd, 11, 22, 1, 2, 12. That's kind of what I thought. That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
No, because it's actually week 13, but ignore the actual facts. The 1, 1, 2, 2 makes it
Did
way
you
more.
count it? Did you count in week 0?
No.
Week 0 takes one down, takes one away.
Oh, okay. I got it. Week 0 works in
gotta-
mysterious
You
ways.
have to. You have the big corrector of week -1.
Right. We're in like
You know how
what,
in
week
The
negative
Office,
7 right now?
Kevin had a Clevin.
Yeah.
And that was his like number fudge.
Yep.
I have a week -1 to correct anytime I say within 1 week off.
Yep.
So hopefully it's lucky week 13 for Boise State. They're playing at Notre Dame. This is the first time I believe that at least they've played. No, this is the first time they've played. Period.
Yeah, I'll get
Right?
stats and info on that. I'll get you an answer here in
Yeah,
a second.
I was looking. I believe this is their first. Where did all my things go? At the very least, this is the first time Boise State is traveling to Notre Dame. So we'll at least keep it there. That's what I know. And
Yeah,
I
no
won't-
previous matchups. You're correct.
No previous match. So this is the first time we're seeing these teams play. Period, which could be fun. Obviously, the Broncos lost Ashton Genty to the draft, which is fine. We love that for him. Wish him the best. But you're gonna have Boise State trying to reset from that. I was trying to find stats on what they've been doing in the off season. Every Bronco Nation news, 24/7 sports, everything I was trying to find source wise, it's all timing out on me. So I don't know what
Most
they've
of the
been doing in
players
their
are coming
off-season.
back.
Yeah.
Outside
they're-
of Genti.
But this is one of those. This is where. This is their last season in the Mountain West. 2026, they joined the Pac-12 as well.
Yep.
So this is a great welcome to the big boys. Let's see what you can do. Have they proven themselves? Absolutely. I have no issue with them. Again, I also like football, and I'm not worried about ratings. So I love any of these teams making aggressive moves to try and move themselves up, especially if we might be moving into an era where it is the same 3 or 4 teams winning just on a 10-year rotation. Any chance to upset that, I'm here for. But also, Boise State, I'm going to give them one because this is, in fact, they gave us, and when I say us, I really mean me here, the best bowl game ever,
Yeah.
in my humble and correct opinion, with the, what was it? The, I forget what year.
Oh,
I just watched
should
it.
know this. 07?
The Tostitos
Was
Bowl.
that
I thought
also
it was-
07? 07
It was
drunk.
07.
I want
my
to say
gosh.
07, and it just felt
It was
odd.
beautiful.
It was 07. Barely, but it was 07.
It's like legally 07. Yeah.
So it was a precursor to the best season ever.
Yeah.
But very excited to see how this works. Obviously, Notre Dame coming right off of a championship run. So the stuff that Marcus Freeman has been doing seems to work. I'm just excited to see what happens. I like Boise State. I've always had a soft spot. And again, anytime a big team can come in, correct me if I'm wrong. Are they doing a home and home, or are they just doing? Is it just a one-off?
That's a good,
Because if
good
they do
question.
a home and
I'll
home,
get,
then
I'll-
I'm actually going to avoid not this one, the year after. And I like the idea of more and more big established blue blood teams going in and playing on a blue field.
yeah.
It's like when like the heroes kind of like teleport into a new world and they don't know what's going on, like that. I just like the optics of that. But please go watch week 13 or 12 if you add your little week -1 wherever you want. November 22nd at Notre Dame. Watch it.
That's going to be so fun. They don't play in 2026, so this is just a one-off thing. Boise State's doing Notre Dame a solid. Stats and Info did find a different stat that I think is fascinating. And yes, if you're wondering, season 4, Stats and Info, we've got someone that's working for us. I don't know where their location is. Like, it's our office. Is it like a nice office? Is it a dingy office? We have no idea. But Notre
give them a
Dame
window?
4th. Yeah. Do they have a window? Probably not. Seems like Stats and Info wouldn't have something like that. Notre Dame 4th all time in win percentage, 731. Boise State 5th, 727. And you know where Boise State has Notre Dame just absolutely crushed statistically? Conference championships. Boise State's got 19 of those bad boys. Notre Dame 0. How's that feel?
You're ha nerds.
Yep. How does that feel?
Catholics aren't allowed to join conferences. Y'all love those things.
Yeah. Boise State, I'm looking at their schedule next year. They'd make a return trip to Oregon. They host Memphis and South Dakota, and they're at Western Michigan, which is much farther. Sorry, not much farther. The opposite of that. Much closer to me than Boise State is. So maybe the 5th and Goal College Football Tour in 2026 will wander over to Kalamazoo. Speaking of 5th and Goal, you can obviously watch the show on YouTube. We currently have a challenge going on at the 5th and Goal Sports YouTube channel. We are trying to reach enough subscribers to fill up every stadium in college football. Not literally, because that seems like logistics would be difficult. But for example, the smallest stadium in the FBS is a capacity of 10,200 people. That's Fifth Third Stadium, our lovely folks over at Kennesaw State. We're trying to hit that number with subscribers. We're getting closer and closer. We actually just hit 9,000 subscribers on YouTube just a couple days ago. So thank you guys for the support over there. It means a lot. And again, you can join the show live there or TikTok or Facebook every Monday evening at new time for season 4, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And you can share your thoughts live with us. If you want to watch the video of our pretty faces, but you missed out on the live stream, you can still do so. Our YouTube channel has a playlist with all of our past shows on demand. So if that's your preferred way to watch or listen, go do that. And here, future editing Aaron is going to insert the bumper that he has not made yet for season 4 picks of the week. All right, picks of the week. New season, new scoreboard, and new prize to be won. I was the lucky winner of season 3, so the You're Done It Star trophy is on its way to my house, so that's exciting. But as always, we're starting the season with no idea of what we want the prize to be. Johnny narrowly had to go to Alabama, Montgomery, or wherever, Birmingham,
Yeah,
for
I
a
didn't
Waffle
finish
House.
worst or best, so no Waffle House for me.
Yep. So if you have
Somehow
recommendations,
Johnny. Congratulations, Johnny.
Threaded the needle.
You're alive.
Ugh,
yeah, exactly.
darn it.
Yep. Sure are.
Please tell me you didn't try and like kayak off of Victoria Falls or anything.
No, I just went whitewater rafting in one of the best rivers for it in the world. Category 5 rapids. Gotta love that.
I mean, that is
I saw a
pretty
I
dead
do like a
hippo
nice-
on the side of the rocks.
wow.
Ooh.
They're not actually good swimmers.
That seems like such a design flaw. That's crazy.
I feel like it's
Well, so they don't swim.
They're
They
big,
can hold their breath for like 15 minutes, and they literally walk on
Oh.
the ground underneath the river.
Oh, so they don't
But
swim,
they
they're just
don't
big.
want to be near strong currents.
Sure.
They stay near the shore. So they
Gotcha.
aren't typically in the rapids. So they actually aren't good swimmers. They just walk in the river. They just
So
walk.
if you-
and they float.
I mean, you're probably dead if you find yourself in a hippo encounter, but is that the way to get away?
Yes.
Just swim as fast as you can? I feel like you're still dead. Does it matter? I feel like it doesn't matter.
Swim into the strong current, and the river might kill you. Sure,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Good. Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
What do you prefer?
I don't know, but I'll let you know at like 3 a.m. when my thoughts don't let me go to bed because I'm thinking of which option I'd rather have. This week, we are picking, nothing to report last week because new season, but let us know if you have a prize in mind. Let us know. You can hit us up on Twitter or any of the social medias. You can comment on YouTube. You can comment on the podcast platforms. If you have a prize, or maybe alternatively, we just need a punishment for the last place. I don't know. This week, we're picking Wimbledon. We've got the men's, well, we've got the whole thing going on. Men's and women's singles is what we'll be picking. Guys, I have kind of a bold pick. And the reason why it's bold is not because of this person's rating. This person is rated on the men's side number 1. But Yannick Sinner is a little bit fortunate that he is where he's at. He made the quarterfinals, but only because his opponent, who had him down 2-0, had to withdraw or retire, as they say, with an injury. So that's a bummer. So Sinner escapes to the quarterfinal round, and I'm here to tell you that I think it's going to be a good wake-up call. He's got kind of a second life, and I think he's going to take full advantage of it. Now, I say all that, and I hope he doesn't, because he is playing Ben Shelton in the quarterfinals, and I love watching some Ben Shelton. Do you want to see a person serve a ball so hard that if you were standing in the way, it would go, the ball would pass cleanly through your skull? Then watch Ben Shelton. He's serving at 140 miles an hour plus. His forehand is lethal. He's a lefty, which just makes everything really interesting. So I'm rooting for Ben Shelton to win the whole thing on the men's side. And then because Coco Gauff got upset in round 1,
Yeah, insane.
which was insane, I can't make my usual pick on the ladies' side, but I still got to rep the USA. I'm going to go Anisimova, the 13th rated player on the women's side, and she's also in the quarterfinals. Now, possible semifinal date with Sabalenka, so we'll see how that goes. But that's my picks.
I am not changing my strategy when I pick sports that I am less apt in picking, which is all of them. Yes, I know. Except for a random like month and a half period in like November when I'm just on fire. Every other time I know. So I go back to what I know best, and what I know best is vibes. And I opened Wimbledon.com/EN _GB /draws/gentlemen's -singles. I saw B. Shelton. My brain went, Blake Shelton, and I immediately put him in. I didn't even look at who he was playing, anybody else. I went, Blake Shelton. It's Ben Shelton. Aaron already said that. Aaron likes Ben
I do.
because he's serving at 140 plus. I like it because I did a little giggle when my mic was muted. And by the rules I have set up for myself, that's my pick.
That's good.
Now, for the women's, I am going to stay true to form there, which is if I don't get a vibe pull, I go with someone who I've picked who hasn't won yet when I've picked them, hoping that this time's the trick. And so Iga Swiatek is my pick for the women's singles. I've picked her at least 2 times. I don't believe I have won with her yet, which means it's Old Faithful.
Bound
You
to
got
happen
this.
eventually.
Bound to happen statistically. She's in enough of these things. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Alcaraz on the men's side, opposite of what I did last time. I am hoping for another Sinner Alcaraz final. That was phenomenal in our last major. And I would just love what happened in the French Open to continue over to Wimbledon. And then I'm going to stick with Sabalenka. Much as Josh just said, she had a great chance to beat Coco Gauff in the French, was not able to pull it off. I think this time with Coco getting knocked off so early on, she has a really good pathway to go take the title. It's been, Aaron already mentioned Shelton. You also have Taylor Fritz from the Americans on the gentleman's side. It's been fun to see, in the men's side especially, the Americans start to filter through these young up-and-coming Americans that we hope might be able to start to get to some finals and maybe even win a major championship here in the tennis scene. It's been a long time since the Americans have had that opportunity on the men's side. So, Josh, I hope you're right with Shelton. I hope he can just even keep on going. But he's got a tough match in the quarterfinals with Sinner, who, Aaron, as you mentioned, kind of gets a second life, and he didn't have to play an entire match, really, in many ways, too. So he should be well rested and ready to go.
Johnny, what do you think about the automated line judges? That's kind of a first for Wimbledon.
I love it.
I do too.
Like, I kind of wish they should just always have it, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like, in a sport that's that cut and dry, we don't need gray area. We just don't. It's just very clear cut. Did the ball touch the line? Did it not?
Yep.
Just yes or no. I don't. And because it can be so quick, you're not standing there waiting on a replay with the Hawkeye technology. There's just no reason for anything else.
Yep, I totally agree. If you're looking for the finals of these events, the women play Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, the men Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which they bumped back a couple hours. So I guess prime time viewing in the U.S., so that's exciting. So that is Picks of the Week. And insert bumper here for what we're following. All right, well, look, we're in the middle of summer. Not quite. I don't know. When do the dog days of summer start? Does anyone know? Are we
Gotta
there
be
yet?
now.
I feel like it's this
Pre-
like
or
late
post
July,
4th July?
early August. Has to be.
Yeah.
Because what else? I mean, the next big thing we're looking forward to is, I would say, Labor Day, if we're talking about just holidays.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think
Josh,
now
how
it's
dare
just-
you? Start a college football, week 0.
I'm talking
Armageddon
about
holiday.
officially federally recognized holidays. Yes, the
You're right. We
petition
need to
is
fix
in
this.
the mail. Exactly.
Yeah, we need to fix
politicians,
that.
remember when I said, "Hey, can you make everybody who sets up a bowl game on the Army Navy Day treason? Since it's going to be easy for you, and since again you're so bored and have nothing to do, could you also make, instead of Election Day a holiday, can you make week 0, whatever day the first domestic college football game is, that a holiday?" Now, if it has
My
to be
only
set on a
suggestion,
Saturday,
Josh, is
so be it.
that we could probably also have voting as a national holiday too. But yes,
No,
agreed.
it has to
One
be
or the
One of
other.
our
Sorry.
listeners is going
I'm
to get
so
a law
sorry.
degree just to help us fulfill this request.
Yes. My point in all of that is, yeah, like obviously we've got baseball, the Major League Soccer season's rolling right along. You've got Wimbledon, you've got some events here and there. If you like NASCAR, I'm sure that's probably happening. But if you're like me and occasionally you like to sit down and play some video games, I tell you what, man, this is a good week for you because I think today, it's either today or tomorrow, Backyard Baseball 2001 comes out on Steam and probably somewhere else. I don't know. But the folks over there at Backyard Baseball are absolutely killing it. 2001 is the version of the game that I grew up on. It's got the pros. They brought the pros back, I think almost all of them. In this version of the game, you can set up your home stadium as I think pretty much whatever you want. It's awesome. So that's exciting. Add in the fact that NCAA football 2026, or maybe it's just called 26, I don't know. That dropped, I think technically maybe today if you wanted to pay like $200 to play it for like 3 days extra and be a weeb. But otherwise for everyone else that doesn't make that kind of money, it drops on Thursday. So I'm very excited. I was debating back and forth of whether I should pick up this game. There was a couple, because I have like 25 and I love it. There's a couple things that really sold it for me personally. One, Jeremiah Smith on the cover. That's easy. Two, I think, if I remember correctly, Dynasty Mode is now cross-platform, so that seems like a dub. And then three, we did add Delaware and Missouri State to the FBS, so it feels like I should have a game that has those teams in it. And I don't really have a fourth reason, but it sounds like based on the brief reviews that I've seen, a lot of people are really liking this. It's different enough from NCAA Football 25 that it feels worthwhile. And also, apparently, no one can play defense. So that seems about right. I'm looking forward to doing that this week. And yeah, so let me know if there's a team that you think is a good rebuild in Dynasty Mode that you're taking on. Let me know. I'd be curious to get your thoughts because I will probably just assign myself a random group of 5 team and hopefully bring them to glory, or just ditch them and the moment I get a good paying job at the Power 4 level. We'll see.
Guys, it's a new season. It's a new intro to the podcast. I might only be able to do this once, but it's Chesshead's time.
Yes. Wow. I didn't hear that at all, but I'm sure it made it on the recording.
Hopefully, it made it on
Discord
recording,
like blocked that out,
break
but that's
everything.
insane. What an intro.
Yes, it's a boat air horn I found.
That's incredible.
When I got into my office, and every time I just kind of go bow, 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 bow. Hold on, my entire recording is not happy with me. Give me one sec. I think it's gonna be fine. I think we're fine. I'm just gonna lean back from the mic. I might look into new mics this week. I think we're fine. But guys, chess heads, you know it, you love it. The podcast within a podcast, highlighting the greatest in technically not sports, but in our heart sports. After a, dare I say, a hard 2024 of the year without a chestnut. 2025's Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest saw the return of the king, Joseph Chestnuts. Joey Chestnuts, if you're his family. He ate 70.5. I'm seeing some people say 71. That's not what happened. 70.5 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Reclaiming the throne. That's not even his best. But it's so good. And it's so many. And it has caused enough people seeing the return of the GOAT of competitive eating to wonder. Joey Chestnut is the Usain Bolt of eating things. Is Usain Bolt the Joey Chestnut of running. And so the internet has put together a competition. Hypothetically, of course, although I could see them both being down for this time. At least Joey could be down for this. This seems kind of fun. Who would win in an eat one hot dog, then run 100 meters race? Usain Bolt or Joey Chestnut?
Are we
I'm adding
talking
some.
in their prime?
This is the questions on the internet were so frustratingly vague. I've added a few things. It is
Okay.
current day.
Okay. Neither in their prime.
They each get like 1 month to train. I would say ideally in their respective like week things. Obviously, Joey's not a sprinter. I'm assuming Usain Bolt's not a competitive eater in his spare time. So you guys can build, because Joey Chestnut, he trains a lot. If you see his workout regimen, he does train to get to where he is. He's obviously not cardio in the way that Usain Bolt is, but they get a month to train, eat one hot dog, and then run 100 meters. Who's winning?
I think this
Actually,
answer is
Josh-
easy.
I think it is
thought
easy.
I had an easy answer too, but I might change it. But I'll let you guys go first.
My gut, and I think Aaron's gut too, is Joey Chestnut taking this.
Yeah, easily.
70 hot
Oh,
dogs.
really?
Yeah.
70 hot dogs in 10 minutes is on average about one. Let's just round it up to 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's-
Round it up to 2 seconds. So I don't know how fast you've eaten hot dogs, but I've seen normal people try and shove a hot dog down. It takes anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Now you're about to say, but Josh, Usain Bolt's like record for the 100-meter sprint was like 9 seconds. I'm
yeah,
going
9.58.
9.58. Insane. I'm going to round up to 10 seconds. I'm going to double that, and then I'm going to add 5, because that seems to be like a 25 seconds 100-meter. I don't know how fast that is, but having like the speed, I'm going to way overcorrect on this. I think that Joey Chestnut could go home and then start running.
Well, do you
And
have to finish chewing before you start running?
Yes.
Absolutely.
But he
Clean
doesn't
mouth.
chew.
That's the thing. Yeah. Open, like, once he
Dude won't be able to breathe.
once
He-
he can breathe. Like
He
that's
figures
once
out
he's
how to
able
not breathe for like 10 minutes. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. He does all that training he does for 70. He just have to done.
Yeah.
As long as it's
He might bring another hot dog just to eat along the way, just for fun.
He's on the way.
Yep.
Does he get a
I
cup of
think-
water how he normally does?
I'm
Or
assuming
does
so.
he have to eat it dry?
So that has been something, because that is part of, we call that the Solomon method of eating. I don't you can see the charts. There is a chart when that method was implemented, I believe in like 2000, 2001.
Josh, I
See,
believe
can't
you. I'm
pull up
just laughing at the
stats
fact
on
that you
Alabama.
know that you just pulled that
can't
out of your
pull this-
bag. The Solomon method. You just knew that off
I
the
did
dome.
see. Listen, do you know how many videos TikTok has sent me of competitive eating? And it's like, I did see a
Fair
big
enough.
chart today. But yeah, I can't pull out Alabama's transfer stats. But yeah, I could tell you about the Solomon method. This is
The real
why
important
I'm
stuff.
here.
Okay, so you guys are all in on Joey Chestnut. So I was
Even if it
actually
has to
going
go
to
dry,
say
traditional.
Usain Bolt definitely would win,
Oh,
just
there's no
because I
way.
bet Joey Chestnut like is slow as molasses. Like I bet that dude like cannot run to save his life. However,
Mhm.
Usain Bolt, like okay, so I was gonna pick Usain Bolt, but Josh, as soon as you said current and not in his prime, I switched. Why? And this is like more technical than you guys probably wanted, but Usain Bolt has had significant hamstring injuries in like towards the end of his career, and then he actually ruptured his Achilles tendon
Oh dear.
a year ago in a
Oh.
charity football match. So that clinches it for me.
Yeah.
Like ruptured your Achilles tendon, your Achilles is pretty important to run, especially in
Okay,
a
but I want to
sprinting
hear the argument.
situation.
If he's in his prime, I want to hear that argument, because I think even
Yeah,
in his
actually, let's go
prime,
back.
I don't.
Yeah, let's make it
'Cause
ideal.
I bet Joey's just
also
slow
Joey
as
Chestnut.
But
His Chestnut
even
bet
if he
he's
runs
not
it in
prime
20
technically.
seconds, like I'm not
Let's go, like,
anticipating Joey
prime, like,
Chestnut
80.
being very
Yeah.
fast either. Like But he can run it in 20
Josh said
seconds, right?
If Usain gets to train, I think he'll learn how to eat it a little quicker. Like than what you're saying. Like you're giving Usain the opportunity to actually train and try to eat it a little quicker than the average person. If you're saying, Josh, what you're saying, like average person, just me trying to choke down a hot dog, I totally agree with you. 10 to 15 seconds. Like there's no way it's quicker than that. But if you're giving him some time to train and somebody to show him how to shove it down, I think he can shove it down pretty quickly. Not like Joey, but I bet he could get that closer to a 5-6 seconds. And then he's going to make that up with Joey in a race like that. Heck, it looked like he made that up in that race constantly against the world's best because he didn't have the best start off the block typically. So I think we're all underselling how insane Olympians are in the 100-meter dash and how long 100 meters is for the average person on a track in comparison to a world-class athlete. So because you allow him to train, I think he gets his time down significantly for one hot dog. If he had to eat more than one hot dog, he's cooked. But one hot dog, I think he could do it, and I think he would catch Joey and beat him on the sprint. But as is currently, no way. Joey beats him for sure.
Here's the okay, so I went to Quora because I have to figure out other pieces of data.
The source of all truth.
Yeah, the most reputable.
Message boards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, message
well, since
one of the most
Wiki
sources of all time.
Yeah, or since Yahoo Answers got shut down, this is my only other recourse.
Wait, did it
It's
really?
Quora from 7 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a few years ago.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. We all do. So this guy who claims he is a marketing person, capitalist, lives in Arkansas, USA, has 1,400 answers on the site. His name's Paul Sage. That sounds kind of fake because, of course, you're the guy answering questions and your last name's Sage. But let's go for it. Let's play in the space. This guy goes, the question was, how long does it take a typical person, non-trained, how long does it take them to run 100 meters? Because that is the question we're getting at.
Yeah.
And I think that's Joey Chestnut Prime, he was 83 hot dogs and buns. That's an important distinction. Last year when it was that versus Kobayashi, which again, now we're putting it down to like, I don't know, second and a half per hot dog. So it's negligible. How long is it going to take a guy who just, this guy goes 28 seconds.
Oh my.
See, there you go.
That's higher than I thought.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to assume, and he goes, I'm 56 years old, and according to the BMI charts, he's 6'1", 228, so BMI, that's close to obese. He knows that he can run in just about 18 and a half seconds.
Oh.
See, I was just
He also
assuming
knows
Joey would
he's
run
been
in
working
20.
on this.
Yeah. Maybe we need to test this. Maybe we need to go out in the field.
Also, now this guy's also extrapolating to adding in median BMI. He's adding like exercise levels. So let's shave it back
Joey's
down.
not young anymore.
He's not young.
I don't know what his exercise habits are, but I doubt he's a runner.
Right.
I mean, those 20,000 calories got to work themselves off somehow.
Right.
Probably the destruction after, like 4 hours after the event is how that happens. But, yeah. Johnny, what are you running? 100 meters right now. But I mean, not right now. You can stretch a little bit, but like you're running it today.
I mean, I have no idea. I ran distance in track. They saw my start off the block one time and said, "No,
hey,
get out there in the field. You're running.
We'll give you a mile or so to warm up.
Go run 10 miles instead of run 100 meters over and over again." It felt like punishment for not having a good start off the block. So I really have no idea. This might be an insane thing to say, but I would think like, I don't know, 13 seconds, 13 seconds. Because like with like 100 meters, like shaving 0.2 of a second is like the difference between like, you know, the winner of the national championship in the NCAA and like getting invited to the US trials. I don't know. You know, like it's not quite this, even in distance running, you know, a second or two can be such a big deal. In sprints, it's even more so. So you could be running 13 seconds and you're not, that's the equivalent of being like 10 minutes off, you know, running a 10K or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying crazy things, but I don't know. 13 seconds.
Okay.
I think I could do 13.
I'm a
seconds.
solid 20. That's what I think.
I'm closer to the 20 to 25. Let's be gracious to ourselves.
Yeah. I'm with you, Josh. Yep. All right, we'll put that to a vote. I'll throw that on Instagram. See what the people think. Because Josh, I think we're in the right camp, but we'll see what the people think.
Well,
But
I'm with
Johnny
you.
made
If
some
you're
good
I mean,
arguments.
I'm with you guys. If you're saying current,
But even
physique.
prime, I
say-
think it's
yeah.
Joey, because Joey's also in his prime, which doesn't make that much of a difference, other than like
Joey's only
shaves
Joey's
off
only
like 10
41.
years.
He's not.
I
He's
guess
not old
part
by any
of
stretch of the
my
imagination.
assumption is I think it's easier to train someone to choke down one hot dog than it is to get someone to train at the 100
This-
meters.
This is the classic Armageddon dichotomy. Is it easier to train astronauts how to drill, or is it easier to train drillers how to astronauts? Thankfully, Michael Bay did answer this question. It is in fact
Thank you,
bad
Michael Bay.
Either way.
All right. What I'm following to summarize all of this madness. The Gold Cup final was yesterday, Sunday night. U.S. versus Mexico. Looked like the U.S. Might actually have a chance to pull the surprising upset when they scored in the 5th minute off a header. Unfortunately, they fell to Mexico in the final 2-1. Mexico was able to score their second goal with about 10 minutes to go. Key notes coming into the tournament as a whole was no Christian Pulisic, no Musa. They both decided to opt out. I'll save that rant for another time. And then many other players, like a Weston McKennie, unable to play because of the Club World Cup. So just a reminder for everybody, not all of these players opted out. The Club World Cup did prevent contractually many of the U.S. players from being able to play. This was pretty much, though, the starting 11 for Mexico. So that's interesting if you want to look at it that way, where the U.S. might have had two, maybe three starters on the field, and Mexico probably had their starting 11. So, and they looked fairly equal. A couple things. So I just wanted to talk about it because we are a little closer than a year before we host the World Cup. So just kind of the state of U.S. soccer. Obviously, you want to beat Mexico. Obviously, that's frustrating. Not having the whole team's frustrating. However, with this group of players, all of them wanted it very badly, something that we have sorely missed since the last World Cup with this group of players. They become, soft. They had a horrible showing against in the Copa America. Everybody liked to blame Coach Berhalter, but the players need to own a lot of that mistake and that mess. Anybody who doesn't follow soccer all the time, this is a team more than capable of getting out of the group stage and no more, in my opinion. With the expanded tournament, if they get a favorable opponent in the first round, perhaps, but that no further than that. This team really struggles to score. I was really thrilled to see Chris Richards emerge in this tournament. So we have one of our center backs, but we're going to have an almost 40-year-old Tim Ream probably as our second starting center back. That's a massive issue. We sorely lack scoring punch. We still don't have a striker. Still haven't been able to figure that out. But I loved what I saw from a lot of guys. Tillman, obviously Diego Luna had a masterful tournament. He was wonderful to see him play so well on the world stage, score a lot of goals. He plays for Real Salt Lake in the MLS. A lot of MLS players. Matt Freese probably, in my opinion, secured the goalkeeping position, or at least he's the guy to beat right now. So there were a lot of good things coming out of this tournament, but some of the massive holes in this team not fixed. And I think the biggest issue I have is, guys like Christian Pulisic, that's supposed to be the team captain, guys that are supposed to be leading. opting out of a tournament when we don't have to qualify for this one. So there's no meaningful games going forward, and you decide to opt out. I have a massive problem with that. I have a massive problem with what message that sends to your team. But at the same, especially because he knows that they desperately need him. So he's not going to, Coach Pochettino is not going to be able to hold him out or fully responsible because they so desperately need him out on the field. So I think it's in a weird spot for the U.S. It's going to have to be it's going to be a big deal what their group ends up looking like, where they end up playing, what's the mindset of this team going into the tournament. It's going to be fascinating, but throw out any of those old golden generation graphics, Fox. That's a load of garbage. We don't need to hear it. It's not reality. Hopefully the best is still yet to come for U.S. soccer. I would have loved to have a more solidified team, a more talented team coming up when we're hosting. But unfortunately, I hate to be the guy, but that's not happening this year, coming year in the World Cup. So limit your expectations. We should still expect great things. We should still expect a great showing. Getting out of the group stage is a bare minimum, but beyond that, I wouldn't have expectations for a whole lot more.
I wasn't listening for the last 5 minutes, and I think the U.S. is going to win the World Cup next year. And anyone else that says anything different is stupid. So there you go. No, Johnny, you're right. And I'm excited to see. I'm sure we'll be totally rational this time next year. Yep.
Yeah.
Texas State will be in the Pac-12,
Totally.
and the U.S. is winning the World Cup. Somehow, Texas State being in the Pac-12 is the most reasonable option of those two, which is crazy. But that'll be good. Johnny, thanks for that update. Hey, as a reminder, as we depart, you can follow us on social media. If you didn't get enough of us by us yelling into these mics for the last hour and a half, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, TikTok, YouTube, your favorite platform. We're probably there. So check that out. Next week, we are starting a series where we are going to preview each of the major conferences, and we'll give some love to the group of five, of course, as well as we count down to week 0, or as Josh likes to call it, week -1. So we're excited to do that. We're starting with the ACC next week. So certainly some SMU conversation in the mix next week. So we hope you join us for that. For myself, for Josh and Johnny, listeners, viewers, thanks for tuning back into the show. Season 4 off with a bang, and looking forward to talking with you all next week. Have a good one.